occurred before the contract was made. After the contract is signed, we have the problem of moral hazard. So I'm going to first start by defining what is moral hazard. So you can see from this definition that moral hazard is the act of maximizing one's, yes. Oh, you
Sir,
can't.
yes, I'm sorry to interrupt, but sir, we can't see your screen.
Yes, sir.
You have to present, right?
Yes, sir.
Wait a minute. Okay. Okay, now it's visible?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for pointing. Okay. So moral hazard is a situation we think of two persons between whom a contract has been made. So we have got two persons, A and B, and one person acts in such a way that his utility, profit, whatever his objective function is, that is optimized. In the process of optimization, he harms the other persons. Okay. Now, see, I mean, if you think of a duopoly model, one person maximizes his profit, the other person's profit goes down. This is obviously not moral hazard. Moral hazard, the second part of the sentence is important, that the person does not bear the full consequences of his actions. So it can be his actions he's behaving in a certain manner, and this manner can generate some costs. The person who is doing the action does not bear the cost. Alternately, he does not enjoy the full benefits of his action. How is it different from externality? In externality, there are two differences. In externality, there's no contract. So I'm listening to the radio in the morning and you get disturbed, but there's no contract between us. Secondly, I'm not deliberately doing something to harm you. I wanted to listen to the radio, so I'm doing it. Okay. In moral hazard, on the other hand, there's a contract, and why the other person is getting affected is because I'm not fulfilling my part of the contract. The contract specifies that, okay, there are two persons. The first person, A, has to undertake certain actions. B has to undertake certain actions. One of the person doesn't do what he's supposed to do. That is why the other person gets affected. So in the example that I showed you when I started the information economics, the person had hired a cowgirl to look after his horses. And the girl was not efficient. She didn't look after the horses. And as a result, the horses fell sick and died. Okay. So do you understand what is moral hazard? Or should I explain it more carefully?
Sir, I have a question.
Yes.
স্যার আপনি যেটা বললেন যে ডুওপলির কেসটা আমরা কি মরাল হ্যাজার্ডের এক্সাম্পল বলতে পারি যে ব্রেকিং অফ আ কার্টেল? যদি একটা কার্টেল থাকে আর সেখানে একটা একটা পার্টিসিপেটিং ফার্ম ব্রেক করে, সেটা কি আমরা মরাল হ্যাজার্ড বলতে পারি?
Yes, that is a moral hazard because contract need not be formal. It can be informal also.
ওকে স্যার।
কিন্তু ডুওপলিতে কোনো এগ্রিমেন্ট হয়নি, and I maximize my profit. Purno model e jemon. That is okay. That is not moral hazard. But of course, you are going to maximize your profit. That is acceptable. So to repeat, moral hazard is one person maximizes his own utility. Well, I've written utility, but it should be objective function to the detriment of others in situations where they do not bear the full consequences of the actions or enjoy the full benefits of their actions. So if the action has a negative effect, has costs, then I'm not bearing the cost of my action. So suppose I ask you to paint my house and you do not paint the house properly. So the cost is the house is not painted properly, but the cost falls on me, not on you. On the other hand, suppose I ask you to do something and you don't get the full benefits. So when you're working hard, well, the house is painted, but you don't get the benefits. So in that case, what you're going to do is you're not going to do the work properly. Okay. So moral hazard arises when a person is asked to provide a service or do some action. This person is generally called an agent. He can either do the service efficiently or he provides the service but does not do the work properly. He shirks. Okay. Now, let us see what are the consequences of these two choices. If he does the work properly, he gets a lot of disutility because he has to work hard. On the other hand, if he does not do the work properly, if he shirks, then his disutility is very low. Just once. এই শুক্রবার আমি ক্লাসে আছি আমি পরে নটার পরে Okay, let me see. So we have a situation So we have an agent and this agent is asked to do something. Okay. So he can do the work properly, in which case awful handwriting, in which case his disutility is high. Okay, let us say his disutility is minus 50. Or he shirks, does not do the work properly, his disutility is low. So let us say his disutility is minus 10. And whatever he does, he gets a wages of, let us say, 100. So what is his net benefit? It is 100 and this utility 50, and over here is this utility is 10. So his net benefit is 90. So what is this person going to do? Obviously, it is better for him to not to do the work properly. But the problem is the person who has asked him to do the work, in literature, that person is called the principal. The principal suffers. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Sorry, I can't hear you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So in this situation, the agent, under certain circumstances, the agent has the incentive to shirk. So this is called the principal agent problem. So moral hazard is basically a principal agent problem. I'm a principal, I'm asking you to do some work, and how can I ensure that you do the work properly? Now, if it is possible to find out whether you're doing the work properly, then there's no problem. So what I can say is that, look, if you do the work properly, I'm going back over here. So suppose I say that, look, if you do the work properly, then you get a wages of 100. But if you don't do the work properly, your wages will be 60. In that case, this is still 100 minus 50 equal to 50. But over here, 60 minus 10, sorry, let's make it 55. 55, না 55 করেও হবে না, না ঠিক আছে 55 করে তো হচ্ছে। So 55 minus 10, you're getting a payoff of 45. So in this situation, this person is going to do the work properly. So if I know whether you're doing the work properly or not, then moral hazard or principal agent problem is not a major problem. Okay. But the problem is that we have a situation like this. I cannot detect whether you're shirking or not, whether you're doing the work properly or you're just pretending to do the work properly. As a result, I have to pay you, in this example, I have to pay you 500. And in that case, the agent is always going to shirk. Okay. Now, what we are going to do is, first we are going to find out that why is this situation occurring? Why can I not find out, or under what circumstances can uh, I prevent shirking, and under what circumstances is shirking difficult to detect and prevent? So first, let us start with a contract. A contract is an agreement If there's flooding, then the contract gets broken. So what we do is we leave the contract vague and hope for the best. If something unexpected does not occur, then it's fine. The contract is supposed to be fulfilled. But if something unexpected occurs, then we again sit down. I just meet you and say that, look, Spandan, can you do this work for me? And we don't have time to sit down and prepare a very long contract. The next time that we are going to enter the contract will be after 3 years. The value may also be very small. So we go to a fuchka wala and buy some fuchkas. So do we enter into a contract with him? Go to a lawyer and say, the lawyer prepares a document. You are going to prepare 5 fuchkas for my client. The fuchkas will have 7 grams of potatoes, 1 spoonful of red chilies. We don't make contracts like this. The contract value is too small. Okay, so the first is complex transaction. Second is transactions are infrequent or their values are very small. The third is random or involuntary transactions. A good example is an accident. So your Megachandrima is driving her car and she bangs into my car. Well, I hope she doesn't do it voluntarily. It's a random event. But in that case, we have to sit down and decide what to do, how to pay the damages. So should we enter into a contract beforehand? I mean, again, no, we don't know who is going to do the act, who is going to bang against my car at all, whether my car will have an accident or not. And finally, limited by law. Like the example that Spandan raised was cartel. As you know, cartels are not legally permissible. So, if you enter into an agreement that, okay, we are not going to charge a price higher than P bar, can you put into the clause that, okay, and I break it, can you take me, file a complaint against me? You can't, because the agreement itself was illegal. So suppose I say that, okay, I hire you to murder someone and you don't murder that person. I can't file a case against you because the contract was illegal. So contracts can be incomplete because of these four reasons. Any questions? Okay. Now, another possibility is that this mainly relates to monitoring. See, whether you're doing the work properly or not can be ascertained if I monitor you properly. There are two problems over here. One is hidden action. Hidden action refers to a situation when your actions, the actions of an agent, cannot be observed. So, in other words, an example is that I ask you to paint my house or I have a garden and I ask you to tend my garden. But every day I'm coming to college. So I don't know whether you're doing your work properly. Your actions cannot be observed. Or it can be observed, but the cost is very high. The other possibility is hidden information. So you do the work in front of me. I can observe your actions. But whether it is appropriate or not cannot be observed. This occurs mainly in the case of specialized services. For instance, you ask a lawyer to argue a case. So he goes to the court and starts arguing. But whether he's arguing properly or not, whether his arguments are uh, logical or not, well, you don't know. Because if you knew, you would have argued your case yourself. Similarly, you don't have medical knowledge. So when you fall ill, you go to the physician. And the physician says that, look, you have to undertake all these tests. Now, are all the tests appropriate, relevant? Again, you don't know. Okay, so this is called hidden action. So Addo argued that hidden action or hidden information can result in an information asymmetry. The agent has been asked to do the work properly. He knows whether he's doing the work properly or not, but the principal does not know whether the work is being done properly or not. Any questions? Any questions? Thirdly, suppose I have somehow found out that you have not done the work properly. In other words, you have violated the contract. So when I say that, look, you were supposed to come on Wednesday, but you did not come on Wednesday. So I'm going to just not pay your deduct 1 day's wages from your salary. See, what you're going to say is that, look, I did come and I knocked and you did not open the door for me. Okay, so you're going to claim that, look, I did not violate the contract. So what is the possible outcome? In this case, what we have to do is we'll have to uh, undergo some legal process, go to the court or go before an arbitrator to decide who is right and who is wrong. So I say that, look, I'd asked you to do some work, you have not done it. And you say that, look, I have done it. So we either go to a third person who arbitrates between us, or I file a case against you. Both the processes is very costly. If you go to the court, there's a cost of filing, and you have judicial delay. See, what you can do is, if I file a case against you, you're simply not going to appear. And the judge will say, okay, in that case, I'll postpone the hearing to another day. And this goes on. The judge generally does not give what is called ex parte judgments. Judgments hearing only one side of the story. Even though he sees that you don't come, he's still going to wait till you have the time to come, and he's going to listen to your arguments. Thirdly, the case is not filed because the lawyers goes on strike, something happens, there's a holiday. So as a result of this, you have judicial delays and the process takes a long time to be complete. And these costs are very high in developing countries. So to sum up, we have incomplete contracts, difficulties in monitoring resulting in hidden action or hidden information. And third, we have costs of enforcement. This gives rise to a principal agent problem, and the solution is to design an optimal contract. Now, as you will see later on, it is possible to design optimal contracts which prevent shirking, but these contracts come at a cost, so the equilibrium is not Pareto optimal. Now, in this context, self-enforcing contracts can become very important. What is a self-enforcing contract? It is a situation when I create an environment in which you do not shirk. So I give you the opportunity. So I say that, look, you can do two things. You can either do the work properly, or you can also shirk. But the contract is created in such a way that if you shirk, you get a lower net benefit. In that case, I don't have to monitor you. You are going to automatically do the work properly. So for instance, I go to the lawyer and say that, look, I want to file a case and I will pay you only if you win. So in this situation, the lawyer is going to do the work properly. So this is a self-enforcing contract. You don't have to enforce it. The agent, by his action, will enforce the contract. Okay. So is it clear what is a self-enforcing contract?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So to elaborate, a contract is designed in such a way that the agent has a choice of shirking or working hard. The principal does not know what he has chosen. But so the salary is fixed. Okay. But in addition to the salary, the worker gets a bonus. And this is on the basis of the outcome which is observable. So if you shirk, the outcome is poor and you don't get the bonus. But if you work hard, then the good outcome will occur and you get the bonus. So you get bonus and salary. So let us go back to the earlier model. So this is the agent and he has got two choices. You can either shirk or he can work hard. His wages are, in both cases, is 100. His disutility from working, it's low over here, it's 20, and it is high over here. So the net benefit is 80 and it is 40 over here. So in this situation, the agent is going to choose not to do the work properly. Correct? This is clear. Now, suppose the contract is, in addition to the salary, you get a bonus. And let us say the bonus is, I observe how good my house has been painted. And if I find that they are damp, etc., you don't get any bonus. But if the house has been painted properly, you get a bonus of 50. So now what are the returns? It is 80 and 90. So even though I cannot observe which one you have done, will you shirk now? Then obviously you are going to do the work properly. Is it clear? This is a
Yes, sir.
self-enforcing contract. Now, a self-enforcing contract has two things, two aspects, two clauses, one can say. One is a participation constraint, while the other is a incentive constraint. Participation constraint is the salary must be such that he is encouraged to accept the constraint. So in the example that I had discussed before, this one, suppose you're working currently, you're getting a salary of 120. Will you enter into this contract?
No, sir.
Bonus, without bonus? Well, you can do much better. So I have to pay you a wages. I have to make it attractive for you to sign the contract. So if your current wages is, let us say 60, I have to pay you a wages of at least of, let us say 100. Then it is, you find it beneficial to enter the contract. The second is, so this is the participation constraint. The second clause is the incentive constraint. The contract must be designed in such a way that I've got two options. If I shirk, I get an option of, I get a benefit of 80. So my payoff to shirking should be less than my payoff to working hard. This is the incentive constraint. And the participation constraint is the minimum returns the minimum return from the contract is greater than what you're getting currently. This is the participation constraint. If it is satisfied, you're going to enter into the contract. And if the incentive constraint is also satisfied, then you're going to work hard. Am I clear?
Sir, Nakshatra is asking, is this payoff including the bonus part? So his mic isn't working.
Uh, you mean for the incentive constraint? See, I'm not distinguishing between wages and bonus right now.
Okay, sir.
I'm just saying what your returns are. Okay. It can be through a bonus, be through other, as you will see, bonus is not the only way. There are other possibilities also. Okay. So let us discuss the insurance market, some of the examples of model hazard, and let's see how it is the principal agent problem is solved. See, the decision to purchase a policy or not is pre-contractual. It relates to adverse selection. Once the contract has been signed, in other words, the insurance has been purchased, then we can have model hazard in the insurance market. Example, suppose you have a Mediclaim and you know that if you take the medicine in time, if you follow the diet that a doctor, physician has prescribed, you are going to stay healthy. But if you don't follow the advice, then you are going to fall ill. But does it matter if you fall ill? Because your medical cost is going to be covered by the insurance policy. Okay. So now the situation is something like this. The policyholder has two options. He can follow medical advice and take care of his health. So in this situation, his health is going to be good, and hospitalization will not occur. So the insurance company so there are no reimbursements. On the other hand, you can say that, okay, I'm not going to follow the medical advice. Uh, I'm not going to follow healthy practices. Okay? As a result of this, my health is going to be bad. I will have to be hospitalized, but the cost of treatment is covered under policy. Okay. So over here, because I just go on eating, drinking, do whatever I like, I get a lot of utility. What are the costs? Who bears the costs? It is the insurance company which bears the cost. So this is moral hazard in an insurance market. Given this structure, what will the policy holder do? Will he follow medical advice and follow a very strict diet, a strict living style, lifestyle? Or will he just go on enjoying himself? Again, in the healthcare market particularly, moral hazard is pretty common. See, the doctor gives and prescribes some medicine, right? Now, whether the medicine is desirable or not, whether it is effective or not, depends upon many factors. One possibility is the medicine that was prescribed is not appropriate or relevant. Two, the producer has not produced the medicine properly. You may remember that about 1 or 2 years ago, Indian cough medicine was sold in Africa and it resulted in killing the children who took the drug. So the doctor has made a good prescription in good faith. He prescribed the medicine, but the producer had sold adulterated or bad quality medicine. Maybe it was out of expired medicine. Okay. Third is the doctor prescribes something, but the patient does not do the work properly, does not take the medicine properly. So either of the three cases, the patient is not going to recover. But is it possible to say which one of these three has occurred? See, it
No,
is
sir.
possible to say which one has occurred. It is possible to say which one has occurred, but not for a non-medical person like us. We don't know whether it is just we don't know whether the doctor has prescribed wrong medicine or whether the producer had produced bad quality medicines. And it's also possible that I had not followed the advice. Okay. So these are two instances of moral hazard in the insurance market and in the medical sector. Now, a very famous example of moral hazard, or rather some very famous examples, uh, are linked to the financial crisis in 97 and also in 2008. If you remember, I think I've already covered this. If you remember, at the start of this millennium in the United States, there was a very high demand for houses. The American population wanted to own their own houses. So this led to the demand increasing in the housing market. And the excess demand led to a spike in real estate prices. So what it meant was people could no longer buy the houses themselves. They had to take loans. And in the housing loan sector, the interest rate also went. Now, who got the loans? See, theoretically, what happens is the loan application is sanctioned or rejected on the basis of, depending on whether the bank, the person who has taken the loan is able to repay or not. One possibility is uh, the EMI income ratio is high. So EMI is a monthly payment. So let us say every month you earn an income of 1 lakh and your EMI is only 10,000. You have to pay the bank only 10,000. So the EMI income ratio is pretty low. These people are considered safe borrowers. On the other hand, suppose your income was 20,000. So that means 50,000 of your income has to go to the bank. The EMI income ratio is very high, and these borrowers are supposed to be risky. Now, normally, banks loan only to safe borrowers. But in the US, when the demand for housing loans increased, banks started lending to risky borrowers also. Why they did so? I'm explaining over here. See, what happened was, if it was a bad person, a person who could not repay the loan, what would happen is that the banks would seize the mortgage property and sell it at a higher price. Because real estate prices were rising, the property values were also rising, and so lending to high-risk borrowers was not difficult. On the other hand, high-risk borrowers knew that, okay, it's possible that I can't repay my loan. But even if I can't repay my loan, I could always sell a house, I could make capital gains, and I could just repay my loan. So, given a situation when the real estate prices were rising, risky borrowers bought loans, they applied for loans, and they also got the loans. But what about the safe borrowers? The safe borrowers are the people who took the housing loan in order to have a house of their own. So they don't want to sell the house. So when what they see is that the interest rate is rising. If the interest rate rises, then even for the safe borrowers, the EMI income ratio is going to increase. So after a time, the good borrowers are going to leave the market. The risky borrower, on the other hand, is going to remain in the market because they are borrowing and they know very well that they are not going to repay the loan. So what happens is the good borrowers leave the market, the bad borrowers remain behind. And so the banks increase the interest rate, the housing interest rate. As a result of this, there's a further influx of good borrowers. And so a spiral is set up. Interest rate goes up, some of the good borrowers leave, interest rate again is increased, again the good borrowers goes up. It's just like as in the, you remember adverse selection in the insurance market? It is just like that. Have you understood, or will I give a numerical example?
Sir, understood.
Okay. As a result, a bubble was created. Banks were lending to subprime borrowers. What is subprime borrowers? Borrowers who are not safe, who will not be able to repay the loans. But this, even the subprime borrowers were safe because the housing prices were increasing. But when the bubble burst, the housing market collapsed. The property which was mortgaged turned out to be of low value. So far what was happening is you took a loan, you could not repay, either you sold it or I seized the property and I sold it. And both of us were happy. Now, the bottom is knocked out of the real estate market. So what happens is, if you're unable to pay the loan, you won't be able to sell the house. And if I seize your house, the house value is very low. So that means the financial condition of banks get affected. On the other hand, so this led to a financial crisis when the banks got affected and they started uh, and they became financially weak. Okay. So is it clear, everyone?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Sir, this subprime crisis example, is this there in Poil?
No.
Okay, sir.
Now, uh, Nakhotra was asking about bonus, wage bonus. But see, even apart from bonus, it is possible to ensure that you do the work properly. If you have group production, then the problem of monitoring is that all the other people are doing the work properly, one person doesn't do the work properly. So in this situation, what we can do is, we can say that, look, I don't know who is cheating, who is not doing the work properly, but I'm going to penalize the entire team. So you have to supply, you have to produce this amount, but if you can't do, you're not, I'm going to deduct, I'm going to penalize you by deducting your wage. In this case, what will happen is you are working in a team. So you know that, okay, the person who is working next to me is not doing the work properly. So what you're going to do is, you're simply going to say that, look, I'm not going to do the work. If he starts shirking, you're going to jump up and say that, look, he's not doing the work properly. So basically, the other team members are going to monitor your actions. So I don't have to observe you. It's costly. I can set up a CCTV, etc., but it's going to be costly. What I do is, I create a contract whereby you have peer monitoring. The other members in the team starts monitoring you. Another solution is what is known as wage bond. If you live in a rented house, or if you have rented your flat, then you know that landlord requires a security deposit. What is this security deposit? Uh, Once you vacate your flat, you have to repay this amount. If you don't repay, the landlord has to repay the amount. But if you have damaged the flat, then he is going to repay the flat based on your using your security deposit. Okay. So this ensures good behavior on the part of the tenant. Similarly, in the labor market, you can also have Salop and Salop argue that the employer can set up a performance bond. So couriers who transport valuable items, they have to sign a bond, or they have to deposit something which is costly. So if you don't deliver, if you run away with the item, then the company appropriates this item. Then suppose are hired you're placed in a corporate sector and the company trains you. They generally ask you to sign a bond saying that after training, you have to continue to work in my office for 2 more years. What is the reason for this contract of this clause, performance bond? The reason is you take the training and then you join another company immediately. So the company trains you at a cost, but some other company gets the benefit. So they can say that, okay, you can leave the company, but you have to pay me a penalty. Another possibility with which I will end today's class is this type of performance bond. Suppose the worker gets a utility of G if he does not do the work properly. And if he's caught, then he's going to be dismissed. Now, whether he's caught or not depends upon how closely I'm monitoring that worker. So given the monitoring effort, the probability of detecting shirking is, let us say, theta. So the worker has to post a bond of B. So what is the expected penalty from shirking? If he doesn't get caught, 0. But if he gets caught, the probability is theta. In that case, his penalty is theta into B. So the expected penalty from shirking is, what are the two outcomes? He gets caught, probability, his outcome is beta. He doesn't get caught, 1 minus theta, but there is no loss. So that is why it comes to theta B. So if he gets caught, then his penalty is theta B. And if theta B is greater than G, then the person is going to work hard. So what is the value of the performance bond? We can easily set it equal to G equal to theta B and solve for B. So B is equal to G by theta. So if monitoring increases, what will happen to beta? Will beta increase or will it come down?
স্যার ফল করবে কারণ থিটাটা বাড়ছে এই probability of getting detected.
Theta barley, if theta increases, then B will fall. You can just think of theta and 2 by theta. So you can see that if theta goes up, B will fall. Now, do we actually have such bonds? Well, they are not very common. There are several reasons for this. One is that in that case, the model hazard shifts. So instead of the agent cheating, now it's the principal who can cheat. So the employer will falsely accuse the worker of cheating and say that, look, you cheated, you did not do the work properly, and you fought. So I'm going to take away your bond. See, in the case of online data entry, in the informal ITES sector, contracts are signed like this. So I ask you to pay some, I ask you to enter some data, and I say that, okay, I'm going to do a checking. And if I find that the percentage error is more than 5%, then I'm going to pay you only 50% of the agreed wages. Okay. So after entering the data, what happens in reality is the employer says that, look, I checked and I found that there was more than 5% errors, and he doesn't pay you the he doesn't return the performance bond. In Mumbai, if you enter into a rental agreement, you have to deposit one or 2 months rent. And if you leave the flat in good condition, then this security deposit is refunded. But what actually happens is that deposit is never refunded. The landlord comes and says, look, this part is wrong, or this was working properly. He makes some excuse and doesn't return the security deposit. So this is again a model hazard situation, but now it is the principal who is cheating the agent. You can also have a bond. So the bond required may be too high for an employee to post. So over here, B star is equal to G by theta. Suppose the resultant value of B is very high. The employer will not be able to post this bond. And third is, what can happen is, you can have deferred payments. So you say that, okay, I'm not going to pay now, but I'm going to pay after a long period of time. So whether you have done the work properly or not, and when the time comes for payment, it's very difficult to find out whether you have done the work properly or not. Okay, is it clear, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, so you have done a lot, and you have been little kids, so I'll close the class now.
Sir, Nakshatra is again asking something.
Again,
So, in case of moral hazard in insurance company, can copay clause wherein the agent also pays a part of the treatment cost be a way to reduce moral hazard in the market?
no, I'm not seeing. See, in India, you have the clause, but do we actually follow this medical advice? Even see the cost of if you have to bear the entire cost of treatment, that would be one thing. Okay, then moral hazard would get solved pretty fast. But if the insurance agent bears most of the treatment cost, then moral hazard cannot be prevented. See, because what you're doing is you're basically saying that, look, the doctor has told me that you don't eat sweets, you don't take biryani, no ice cream, you have to walk for half an hour every day. And who is going to do this? It's better to have chips, biryani, etc., watching TV. Okay, so that is the logic. You're getting a benefit from not following the advice. What is the cost? Okay, okay, so today is 16th.
So,
Yeah.
one question. So, sir, like in the medical advice thing, we are assuming that the utility which the person will get from not following medical advice, because the insurance company bears the cost, will be more than the disutility which the person will get from the illness, like whatever, like if they suffer cardiac arrest or something of that sort.
Yeah, because actually, see, what happens is you're not sure that you're going to fall ill or when you're going to fall ill. I mean,
Okay, sir.
just watch your parents. When they fall ill, the doctor tells you to do something, tell them to do something. Do they follow the advice?
Not always.
Yeah. The reason is they're getting a lot of utility. That utility is certain. The consequences, whether they fall ill again, that is uncertain.
Okay, sir.
It's certain utility versus uncertain costs.
Okay, sir.
আচ্ছা, মেঘচন্দ্রিমা, অন্বেষা,
Present, sir.
আচ্ছা,
Sir, at present.
ঋতভাস,
Present, sir.
প্রান্তিকা,
Present, sir.
দিয়া,
Present, sir.
অয়ন্তিকা,
Present, sir.
নির্ঝর, তিস্তা,
Yes, sir.
সৌমদ্বীপ, জেসান, আচ্ছা, প্রতীতি,
Present, sir.
অর্ঘ্য,
প্রেজেন্ট স্যার।
গুঞ্জন।
Present, sir.
আর এটা আমি যখন স্টার্ট করেছি, কোর্সটা স্টার্ট করেছিলাম, তখন আমি পোস্ট করে দিয়েছিলাম, আমি আবার আজকে পোস্ট করে দেবো।
ওকে স্যার, থ্যাংক ইউ।
Okay, sir.
ইনফরমেশন এগুলো পার্লফ থেকে পাবে, সরি, এগুলো পাইলগ্রিফ থেকে, পার্লফে তো ওটা পাবে, পারফরমেন্স বন্ড এগুলো পাবে, এই মনে পড়ছে।
Sir,
ইয়েস,
sir, I'm sorry, sir, to interrupt. Sir, this is Bhavika Deval. Sir, I wasn't sure that my mic was working properly or not while taking the giving the attendance.
আচ্ছা, নেক্সট হচ্ছে কালকে তোমরা ক্লাস করতে পারবে একটা সকালের দিকে?
Sir, we have class with you tomorrow at 10 o'clock.
কার ক্লাস?
Say your class.
হ্যাঁ, মানে কালকে তো ছুটি, জানো তো সেটা।
Oh, okay, sir.
So you don't have to come to class. দেখি, আমি বেশিক্ষণ পড়াবো না।